Colin Thompson, NFL free agent tight end, Carolina Panthers. Obviously, it's cut-down day today, so a lot of guys waiting impatiently, I would imagine, to find out what this their fate is. We'll talk to Colin Thompson about that and more right now on the Sports Bash, host of the Colin Thompson Show, and he joins us now on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. What's up, my brother? How are you?
Mike, it is great to see you. Can't wait to be in Cape May this weekend.
Whoa, you're going to be in Cape May this weekend?
Yes, but as a dad, it's going to look a little bit different now, but it's Cape May, still the same thing.
Wow.
A little mayors, a little lobster house, sea view.
Did not know that. I would if I would have known. Well, you're still invited. I'm going to be in Cape May Saturday all day.
Wow, a little original fudge kitchen stop, Mike. Where are you going?
Well, we're doing the Cape May County Brewery Tour.
Is there a better county for breweries and maybe a little sea breeze in the world?
No, there isn't. But we're starting at noon, going till 9.
Oh boy! Now where are you finishing, Mike? Well, where are you coming to Cape May? Are you going to Cape May Brew?
No, we're starting. We're starting at the top at Ludlam and working our way down to Gusto.
Okay, so is this something where it's a maximum of 2 beers per stop?
Well, we got a driver.
Well, I know that,
Yep.
but these aren't light beers, Mike. This isn't like me crushing some, Corona Lights from Collier's or the Seaview.
Penn State, West Virginia. We're going to bounce from like one half, then the next half, then Florida State, Miami, Phillies,
Miami,
Braves.
Gators.
Yeah, Florida Gators, sorry.
Very nice, Mike. So you are stopping at the Great Cape May Brew.
We will probably, if we have time left on the meter, we will head down that all the way down to the bottom. I did eat at Lucky Bones on
Very good.
Saturday night last week.
How many plugs can we get in to start the show? It's fantastic. They're all great places, though. Cape May is the best, in my opinion, pure like Jersey Shore town when it comes to food.
Yep.
Because it's year round. Like they don't close. Those places don't close. They're
Yeah.
open. Maybe they close January.
It's funny because I was going to text you to see if you were in town this weekend.
Let's go.
But I don't know if you have the stamina any longer to go from noon to 9.
I have, listen, once a star, always a threat, as they say in Entourage. But I will say this, Mike. To me, just to waltz out of the house for a full day now with a 5-week-old, probably not a good plan. I will be watching some football there, a little Seaview action. So if you get a wild hair and you're really, really got a good one going, maybe we'll see you at the end of your trip.
I will text you, and I'll give you the itinerary. Maybe you just want to pop in and meet us at one of them or two.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Cut down day. Give our listeners a little insight on what this day is like for guys on the back end of the roster, such as yourself throughout your NFL career.
All right, I'll go through real quick from the teams I got cut from because I think it's a fun little addition. I just thought about that. Giants got cut after preseason game number 1. Signed with the Bears. I was there for a year. Got cut after preseason game number 5. We played the Hall of Fame game that year. Urlacher, Ray Lewis went in. I got cut in Carolina the first year, 2020, and thought I was done. Coach Rule called me, Cape May resident in the offseason, and said, don't go anywhere. We're going to put a guy on injured reserve. We're going to sign you back. That happened. So how the 53 looks today, put it in pencil. It's going to be in pen probably week 1 at, for the Eagles at 11:30 a.m. on Sunday morning or for Friday morning for them, right? Like it's going to change. 2 Fridays from now. So I got cut from the Carolinas, signed back to the active roster the next day. The next year, I actually was the first and only time I made a 53-man roster out of training camp, 2021. The next year, I got hurt, got cut. You get off. I was torn. Do I go on the PUP list, get cut, and then I can't come back to the team till week 5? That's a tough one. Now, you get hurt.
You get paid for that?
You get injury compensation for those 4 weeks, but you may go and they may bring a tight end in behind you and they may say, hey, we're good now. So I bet against myself. I said, I'm going back in the building. I signed to the practice squad, a little injured. I didn't practice till like week 5, but I was getting the secured money of a practice squad dollar. So that's from a holistic standpoint. And then last year I was in Minnesota, played all 4 preseason games, got cut. No practice squad. So remember this too now, folks. 16 members on the practice squad. So that's 53, right? Do the math. You're looking at close to about 71, 72, 73 guys when you include people going on injured reserve. So more guys make the team now. About 15 guys don't make it. What's it like on cut day, Mike? Luke Kuechly called me in Carolina the first year. Hey, Colin, it's Luke Kuechly. You're like, hey, Luke, how you doing? Bring your iPad. You got to talk to coach, right? That's how it goes. Or I've been cut, and I finished a practice squad lift in Chicago and I got cut there in season. And there was 11 guys in the lift out of the 10 practice squad players. And one of the guys was like, there's 11 guys in here. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, there's 11 people. I'm like, okay. He's like, there's only 10 practice squad members. I entered the locker room after the lift. The Grim Reaper was sitting in my seat. I went up. John Fox cut me. He said, we'll bring you back Monday. And that was normal practice. I came back Monday. It's just a roster move. So there's so much that happens, Mike. Again, to answer your question initially, and I'll be brief because I'm running long per usual, is the bottom line is this. Those spots on a roster, there's about 8 spots really available, maybe a little bit more per team. But they get pull guys from other teams to fill those 8 spots.
Right. That's what's going on now. Guys are getting released. So you're on a roster right now, and you're looking around, like Carolina, for instance, they just released Jordan Matthews at tight end. You're a guy that plays tight end. You're looking at that and being like, if you're on another team, say Philadelphia, are you looking and say, man, they just cut a tight end over there? And if they haven't made their announcements yet, because it looks like the Eagles have not had their full cuts yet. So if you're sitting there, you got to be restless.
You're restless. You don't sleep the night before. But, the older you get, Mike, and the wiser, you're like, I've done everything I could do. But what maybe folks wouldn't understand is this is such a short-lived deal. We're talking your 2.5 years is the average. So, like, all your chips are in. Everything in your life, every workout, every thought, everything I do, even when I'm at the CVU having a couple beers or Taco Caballito or at Barefoots, where we used to hang out. Like, it's always there. And when I'm done, I'm going to have to adjust to that, right? But it's always, okay, here's my off day today. I can have some fun. On Mondays, my working out. And then these guys getting cut, you got to stay ready because in season, come week 1 after the first week, if your position group isn't playing well or there's a lot of injuries, I've been a place where the tight ends didn't have a good week and I was one of the tight ends that didn't. And there's 6 tight ends on the field on Monday morning working out right in front of the weight room when you're working out, and there's guys off the street. So it is a revolving door. It is when people say business, they say it and they say, yeah, I get it. No, you are an entity. And if you're on the roster by 5 p.m. on Tuesday, you get paid for the week ahead. But if I've been cut at 4:59.
Ooh,
there you go. There's your money. It's gone. It's all, you get paid 18 games, 17 games plus the bye weeks. You get 18 checks. For you to make that, say you make $1 million, for you to make that $1 million, you need to be on the roster for those 18 games, unless you have guaranteed money. So it's fun stuff. The business of football is awesome. I'll say Howie Roseman's one of the best in the league. Mike, he navigates it tremendously.
And the fact that it's all done on one day now how does that change things? Where it's all just one big, used to have a couple different cut down days.
Yeah. Thank God they do it all one day, Mike, because I would hate to be the veteran in preseason game number 3 that is on the roster but has to go play in the game because they had to cut 25 guys. Like, that was so backwards. Like, what they're doing is the right way. Give these guys opportunities in game 3, game 4, whatever you're playing, to continue to play and give the veterans rest, because I think the rosters would get cut down to 65. That means your guys that are playing for you in a week are playing. You don't want that. So, hey, listen, all this debate that we've been drumming up, Mike, have they rested players enough? Or the starters should play? Like, all that goes away week 1. Thank God we get to talk real football. It doesn't matter, folks. There's teams that don't play starters. There's teams that play starters, and they've had success and they've had good health. The bottom line is this: who's healthy and who are you playing, and the timing of when you're playing them. That's the NFL. Everyone has the same amount of draft capital. Everyone has the same salary cap. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. The Eagles picked poor time last year, right, for their slide, but had a great start to the year. So it is a long game. And I know in the Philadelphia market, it's very short and quick.
Well, as you know, the expectations are always crazy, and I don't want to say out of control. The expectations, Colin, for this team should be what?
Super Bowl. Absolutely. You don't make those moves. I think, listen, Saquon Barkley is the least talked about great player in the NFL. We're talking elite player in the NFL. I think there's 2 running backs that are in his category. You could say 3, but Nick Chubb's banged up, and it's Christian McCaffrey and it's Saquon Barkley. They're guys you pay whatever it takes to get them in the building, and they're in a separate category than running backs when it comes to, certain buildings believe in running back by committee. You've seen that in Philly, New England. Certain buildings, right, move on from all-time greats. Tennessee moving on from Derrick Henry, right? So going after him, Mike, is a different ball game, and I don't know if he could get hurt. Well, that's every player in the league. When he touches the ball, he is a scoring threat every time. And Philly people know him really well from Penn State. They know him really well for the Giants. This is a guy that's now going to have the lightest box to ever run against because the receivers and the tight end group for the Eagles is the best in the NFL as a combination, tight end and receivers. And O-line, right? You're talking about the best offense in the NFL, really, especially with Trent Williams not playing for the Niners right now. So a lot of pressure, but that's standard in Philly. That's what makes it the best city to play in. I think it's the best fans in the world. And I played in a lot of cities, and there's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you get 2 new coordinators in here. Does that how does that change the dynamic for what this team is? A lot of people wondering what's Sirianni's role, what does he do? He got 2 new coordinators in. How much does that change what this Eagles team will be?
Yeah, I personally believe in head coach in college and the NFL shouldn't be a coordinator. I mean, you can be and you can have a really big impact, but at the end of the day, there's so much more on your plate now with football. When it comes to the things outside football, especially college football now, your head coach cannot call plays. There's so much. But in the NFL, maybe. I have no problem with McDonald going to Seattle from Baltimore, right? He's like, I'm calling the plays. That's how I got this job. I need to call the plays until we're set. So I digress, Mike. For me, it is what it is. I've been so many different places with people coming in and out. It's all about the players respecting the coordinators and the coordinators respecting the players. Why players get frustrated is this coach didn't put me in the best place to have success. And you're saying, well, that's shallow. That's on the coach. Well, that's what their job is, right? Their job is to say, okay, Howie Roseman, you got me this player. You picked the players. You gave me this guy. Now I have to find a way to make him successful. Mm-hmm. So, right, from my perspective, talk about the type of player I was, a blocking tight end. I was in on 3rd and short. I was in on 4th and short. I was used on special teams. I was in on, go-to run situations. We do a tempo run plays where we're just running the same play over and over until it's stopped. I was in on that. If I'm in on 3rd and long running routes, yeah, I can do it. I have to be able to do it to play tight in the NFL, but I'm not Dallas Goedert creating mismatches down the seam where he's a freak athlete. So to me, Mike, it's they got to get good camaraderie, good respect, and that's kind of what Nick's known for, right? Is bringing everyone together, getting everyone on the same page. It seems like he's changed a little bit too, a little less full of emotion, a little more learning a little bit on okay, how I got to act because my players act that way too. I think that passion's applauded until you start losing, right? And then when you start losing, then people poke holes in it. So I'm a fan of Nick. I think Kellen Moore is the real deal. And I think we're going to see some things for their offense that we did not see in the preseason. I think you're going to see some under center stuff. So yeah, excited for it, Mike. What another great ride it's going to be for your show and for the city of Philly with this team.
Yeah, and I know the expectations. You said Super Bowl and should be Super Bowl. A lot of people, I think one of the reasons why there is some trepidation, Colin, is because of the way they ended last year, which no one seemingly has, a clear-cut, bona fide answer for. Everyone just has that, though. It's like PTSD of what happened last year. I think the Eagles basically said, look, we didn't think our coordinators were strong enough. We replaced them and then went out and got some more talent. Barkley, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. We drafted 2 guys at a position that we were a little weak at. So I think they kind of said the coordinators were admittedly the wrong guys. You don't agree?
Well, whether they were the wrong guy or the right guy, I don't think Howie gave Nick a choice. Like he's the pure general manager. He picks. At the end of the day, that's his responsibility to pick the coaches. Like when you're the general manager or a president of an organization, the buck stops with you. So I mean, whether they were right or wrong or whatever it is, that's up for debate. I think to win those games the way you won early on, then there were great wins, and the Eagles were winning close games. And we're talking about how you and I were talking about on this show many times. Hey, listen, they know how to win close football games. There was a major culture shift. That's why those losses happen. It's one thing to lose 2, 3, maybe even 4 in a row, right? But still look competitive. But there was times they didn't look competitive. They didn't have the fire. They didn't have the juice, right? The ball could bounce your way, right? Like Kansas City game, the Eagles won. That was a touchdown throw, walk off, and my man dropped it, I believe. I forget. I think it could have been Valdez-Scantling. I forget who it was. So, like, there was plays that year where the Eagles, if the ball bounced our way, but in those wins, are we still learning the same way if we lost? Like, some of my games I got shredded the most on, Mike, were games we won. And that's what a good sign of a good coach. Was it didn't matter the result. It matters on how you're playing.
Well, the weird part about last year, like you just mentioned it, the Chiefs game, the Buffalo game, the Eagles won games against they won on the road at Kansas City. They beat Buffalo. They beat good playoff teams. They beat up on Miami. So it's like, how do you go from that to what ended up happening? It just doesn't there just seems to be no explanation for it.
It all falls on the GM, the head coach, and the owner, right? Like, and the quarterback. That's it. I think they got a good group there. Owner, GM, quarterback, head coach.
What do you think of adding Dotson?
That's a great move, depth-wise, right? This guy's unbelievable, right? When he got a ridiculous year, if he had anything near the same production, how's he going to handle not being the man? I'm not saying he's not going to handle it well, but like, there's no way he's not. How are they going to handle not getting the ball as much? All of them. Because you can't. There's only one ball.
Yeah.
So, like, what they're going to do, the Eagles.
Well, guess what? He got traded because he wasn't the man. Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, he's a pretty good. I mean, he's almost a number 2, like a 2A. He's legit. I just think, to me, there's only one ball. So how are we going to handle this culturally? How's Coach Sirianni going to handle this culturally? Like, hey guys, like Dallas has got to touch it. Brown's got to touch it.
Yeah.
Smith has to. Saquon does. A backup running back's probably going to. Jalen Hurts is going to be running the football. Like, so as everyone stays on the same page about keep the main thing about winning, not how pretty it looks, Eagles will be fine. I thought last year the main thing was not the main thing. And the sky was falling and the media sky was falling when the Eagles were 12-1. I was like, what are we doing? A win's a win. But again, the standard of, hey, listen, whether we win or lose, like, how are you grading out? And what's that? I thought that would be my guess. We were just getting a little comfy.
Well, it all starts on Friday, September 6th, right here on 97.3 ESPN, a Friday night Eagles opener in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers, and you can listen to that game on 97.3 ESPN. Colin Thompson is host of the Colin Thompson Show on Not For Long Media, and, of course, you can check him out there and right here on the Sports Bash and frolicking around Cape May this weekend. All right, buddy. I'll shoot you a text.
Please do. I won't be frolicking like you, Mike. Please, good luck to your liver, pal.
Well, it's my girlfriend's birthday. So,
hey, listen, no excuse needed for me, pal. Sounds like a great Saturday.
All right, buddy. See you.
Thanks,
Colin Thompson, everybody, here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN.